Hey, what's up, everybody? The VC here, coming at you with another about anything and everything. Nothing's off the table. I'm always off the cuff. That's right. I fly off the handle because I see some bullshit every time I see things out there, and it's crazy. And so, this is where it's at here. The VC on Rumble or VC on YouTube. I play it both ways, but don't get it twisted if you're thinking a certain way. But anyhow, so without further ado, we're going to get straight to it. Alright, lots of things are always going on. It's a bunch of bullshit. But let's go and take a look at the main thing I want to talk about is this mileage tax thing that's being proposed, or it's about to be coming up once again. But before we do, I see some nice Asian tatas here, so let's go take a look at the Asian tatas.
Well, former Oakland Mayor Sheng was in court.
Not this one, but Sheng, who's got ousted as mayor of Oakland for being a crappy mayor, basically. But all mayors in Oakland are crappy if they're tied to the Democrat Party. But there's more to it with Sheng because obviously part of the being ousted is her corruption. It's just an accusation of corruption right now. But it's tied to like a recycling company. Her house got raided by the Biden FBI. So that's what it's all about there. See, ex-mayor in court for federal bribery case. And you think Trump will let any of this go? No. We're going after all these people. So let's take a look at
today in
Miss Sheng. I would bang Sheng.
In the federal bribery case against her, Tao was charged with bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud, along with David and Andy Duong and Tao's romantic partner, Andre Jones. They've pleaded not guilty. In court, her defense team argued that U.S. attorneys are taking too long to turn over evidence in the case. The prosecutor told the judge that while they had produced 400 gigabytes of discovery for the defense, it would take about 1 to 4 more months to hand over iPhone, iCloud, and email evidence in the case. The next court hearing is scheduled for June 26th. The Oakland School Board says it reached an agreement for the superintendent to step down before her contract expires. In a 4-3 vote behind closed doors last night, Dr. Kyla Jansen-Trammell agreed to stay on as superintendent until the end of June, 2 years short of the end of her contract. Board member Mike Hutchinson, one of the 3 who voted to keep Jansen-Trammell on, left his seat on the dais at one point. He told us he is angry that that decision came as the district celebrated paying off its 22-year-old receivership loan.
To find out on that day that behind closed doors, this new school board has forced out our successful homegrown superintendent, I actually kept myself fairly under control for what was really going on.
They're going to make it a racial thing.
September when she starts taking
Board President Jennifer Ruhard praised Jansen-Trammell for that work. She said part of the reason for the decision was the contract contained language allowing Jansen-Trammell to step back and bring on a deputy superintendent.
To me, again, it was who was making the day-to-day decisions. So if you have 2 people, who's the superintendent on record? And when it comes down to the decision-making, who is the ultimate decision maker?
The district board voted to start the search for a new school chief immediately. The board is set to appoint an interim superintendent on July 1st. Well, San Francisco Muni has reportedly let 12 managers go as it faces a massive $322 million deficit. The Chronicle says that the layoffs came in an email to staff from Transportation Director Julie Kirschbaum. Earlier this week, the Muni Funding Working Group presented a series of 6 options to the SFMTA board for proposed fixes, ranging from cuts to exploring ballot measures to cover the budget gap. The agency says it has already made cuts, saving an estimated $120 million. A federal judge in San Francisco ruled today that the White House cannot deny federal funds from sanctuary cities.
Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here. If you are harboring illegals, then, like sanctuary cities do, then you got no federal funding. I mean, it's as simple as that. All you got to do is just follow federal laws and don't harbor, illegals. That's it. Simple. I don't know why it's so hard. But yeah, I would bang Sheng though. Alright, but that's not the point. Let's get to the mileage tax here, alright? So, as you can see here, Newsom wants to mileage tax, alright? So, yeah. California to impose a mileage tax, yes. Anything that the Democrats are going to try to do in California to nickel and dime you, and they're going to do it, and they don't give a shit. They're going to nickel and dime the shit out of you, alright? Every little thing possible, because they're saying that they're exploring per mile road charge as gas tax revenue declines. How? Because they're saying that, because electric vehicle purchases or blah 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 blah, or, and more people are going to electric vehicles, so it's getting away from the gas tax, right? They're saying that gas tax is declining because of electric vehicle sales, but it's being said that electric vehicles sales have plateaued or trending down right now, because there's a difference between when you try to force people into electric cars versus allowing the option to have electric cars. Plus, Democrats are so stupid that you have people out there that's so, Trump deranged and all that stuff, that they're torching Teslas left and right. So it's like they're trying to tax you for going to electric cars like Teslas, but yet you can't get an electric car and keep it nice because people are torching it. So it's defeating the purpose of getting an electric car, because why would I want to get one if it's going to get torched? You know what I'm saying? Destroyed, vandalized, keyed, whatever you want to call it. Right? And plus, to me, the benefits of having an electric car is, I don't see it. I don't see the benefits of it. I think it costs too much. You always got to worry about charging it somewhere. And what if you're in a place where you can't charge it and you're stuck now, right? You got to worry about the maintenance cost of it, which is just as high as or even more than a luxury car, right? If you like luxury cars, the cost of maintenance are pretty high, right? But when you look at it, is it worthwhile? Some people like to pay for a luxury car, maintenance and all that. Well, the maintenance of these, battery cars and the cost of it, replacement cost of batteries costs as much as the car itself. I mean, which is pretty crazy. So you look at all that stuff, it's like, man, is it worth it? Right? And don't get it mixed with mileage allowance. Mileage allowance is like saying, basically if any company you work for tracks miles for your work, for working, right? Then it's, a certain cents per mile that you get paid, right, when you're using your own vehicle. That's why companies, if possible, if they could provide a fleet of vehicles, they'd rather just pay for the gas than the mileage and just say, here, take our car. All right, a lot of companies do that. But when it comes to the mileage tax, it's pretty stupid, because they're trying to force you into, basically, if you want to avoid the tax, you got to take the shitty transportation system. And so they try to screw you every which way possible, and it's just stupid. I mean, to be able to not have the freedom of doing whatever you want because you're being charged to drive, you're being forced into a transportation system that's shitty. It takes longer. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. The mileage tax is stupid because they're saying declining gas revenue. But I think there's going to be a rebound if there is a decline. Maybe it's just flattening because of electric car sales and all that. But I think it's going to eventually go pick back up, because people are not really into electric cars. All right, we're being forced into electric cars, and it sucks. It's stupid, and I think everything should stay as it is because we're already being charged. They should reduce all these taxes that we got going on in California, right? Gas tax, we got the highest gas tax in the state, highest sales tax, highest income tax, highest everything. And they're still wanting to nickel and dime us more, right? Because that's what they do. They like to overspend and do shit like pay for illegals for everything, don't take care of our stuff, and then still tax us more when they overspend. And they're trying to say that this whole mileage tax is to help pay for road repairs and infrastructure improvements and all that stupid bullshit that the gas tax is already supposed to be doing, but it's not. So what kind of shit is that?
Watch this.
California is now planning on taxing citizens 30 cents for every mile you drive.
With more than 30 million registered passenger vehicles in California, the state says it shells out more than $8 billion a year to maintain the roads those cars drive on. Because so many Californians now own electric vehicles, the gas tax money is starting to dry up.
Watch this.
California is now planning.
This guy said he's going to beat the muscle ups.
Try to do 10.
So the record for muscle ups is 30.
30?
I'm just kidding. No, it's 10.
All right, let's go.
What's your name?
Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to meet you.
Whenever you're ready. 1, 2, dude's just floating. 3, 4, 5.
Sorry, I'm just getting caught up in this.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on, you got it. 2 more, baby. 11.
It's all endurance right here.
Come on, come on, come on. 12. 12 reps, beating the record. Dude, very good job.
I've done it in like 2 years.
You haven't done that in 2 years? So it's safe to say that 12 is a 2-year PR.
Yep.
Thanks for coming out.
This guy said he's going to beat the muscle ups.
Try to do 10.
All right. Got caught up in that one. Let's see here. So a week ago here, California Exploring, let's see what they said here. So San Diego's
We begin tonight with new details on a new...
San Diego has tried to push this initiative, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a year or two ago or something like that, and then they got, obviously people didn't approve of this, but they tried to push this thing hard, based in San Diego. So let's take a look at this.
Way to pay for California roads. With revenue from the gas tax dwindling, California
they use that as an excuse
for every mile
for
they drive. Good evening, I'm Marcelo.
Gas tax.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
Fuck out of here.
Caltrans is now studying a per-mile road charge applied to all drivers
should be looked
across
at
the state to help fund highway maintenance that's now funded through the excise tax on fuel, and why the state says this new mileage tax would actually replace California's gas tax. Not everyone's convinced.
CBS 8's Richard Allen has more on the pilot program that has just wrapped up.
Well, that's right. Currently, about 80% of California's road and highway repairs are funded through the state's 59-cent-a-gallon gas tax, the highest in the nation.
Highest
in the nation. With more drivers now switching to electric vehicles, the state is getting less and less funding for those repairs, now leading to this possible mileage tax for all drivers.
See, and that's the thing. They're trying to say that more and more people are buying electric cars. I don't think so. If you're being forced to, that's one thing that they're trying to do in California. But at the same time, more and more people are not really buying into electric cars. And as you can see, it's been ever since Trump came back to office, the push to get people in electric cars has died down, all right, because it's not backed by a Biden administration anymore. And plus, Trump's all in on going back towards gasoline-powered cars. So we're going to see a reverse trend, and this is just bullshit.
Drivers, and not surprisingly, not all drivers are on board.
Of course not.
No, not for it. Sorry, I'm a hard no on everything. I got to save my money where I can.
San Diegan Gail Hoffelina wants to put the brakes on.
Let me see here.
any possible per-mile road charge for drivers, an idea the state's now exploring, as explained in this video released by Caltrans.
It's an innovative way to collect funding for roads and highways based on how many miles you drive instead of how many gallons of gas.
Caltrans is a bloated bureaucracy that don't do shit except collect money, and they're slow on their road repairs and all these different repairs and all that, keeping their freeways clean and all this crap. They're slow at everything, and how are they short on stuff? I mean, I can understand the whole budgeting aspect and I guess you could say the, what do you call it, architectural engineering type bullshit that they upcharge, right? But still, Caltrans should be looked at. Anything with California should be looked at. Any organization, Medi-Cal, right? Caltrans, anything that's considered a organization or program in California should all be looked at, because they're all just taking money right now.
You buy. Because as we move toward a zero-emission future, the gas tax won't last forever.
Caltrans just completed a pilot program to test out a road charge system, including a flat per-mile fee of 2.8 cents a mile, as well as an individualized fee based on a vehicle's fuel economy. The pilot also tested different ways of reporting mileage, including odometer readings or a special plug-in device.
The purchasing power of the fuel tax, which is the main way that we finance transportation infrastructure, has been steadily declining.
They keep saying all this is declining.
Everyone's giving this potential new charge the green light.
A mileage tax in California is a money grab. Let's just be very clear.
It is.
San Diego Assemblymember Carl DeMaio led the charge against a proposed local mileage fee a few years back and says he's just as opposed to this one, which he says could cost the average Californian $900 to $1,200 per year.
Unfortunately, a lot of working families, poorer families, have a longer commute, so they'll actually pay a higher mileage tax.
That's a fact, because if you can't live in the metropolitan cities, whether it's San Francisco, San Diego, LA, whatever, right? What do? You got to commute and move out to the suburbs, right? Where cost of a home or where you live is actually cheaper than living in the city. Right, that's why there's a lot of commuters that go into San Francisco, because it's expensive to live in San Francisco. People commute into San Diego, or people commute into LA, because it's expensive to live in the cities. But if you live in the outside suburbs or surrounding counties outside, the cost tends to be a lot more affordable. You could live in, right? Like, I would never live in San Francisco. I mean, one, because it's trash. But for example, if I wanted to go there, or if I wanted to go, I mean, I could go, but I would commute from where I live now, and I live about, give or take an hour from there. San Jose is the next big metropolitan city. I live about an hour away from San Jose, because where I live is a lot cheaper, and you can stretch the dollar more in terms of where you live. For example, if you live in San Jose, you probably live in some, if you're lucky, 2, 3, 4 bedroom home that's under $1 million, right? If you're lucky, because, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, you'd be lucky to live in a house because it's so damn expensive. But you're paying rent that's like a couple thousand a month on rent for some apartment or what do you call it? Not really a condo, but like an apartment type place. Where I live, all right, same cost of money, cost of living. I own 6 bedroom with a nearly 3/4 of an acre property. So there's a big difference, right? That's why I live in the suburbs versus the city.
Very regressive. It's unfair.
DeMaio also says he's skeptical this mileage tax would replace the fuel tax, as the state has indicated.
It'll go hand in hand.
That's nonsense. These people will never give up a tax.
Yeah.
They're just going to add an additional one on.
And it would be up to the state legislature to decide whether this road charge would replace the fuel tax. Also, the results of Caltrans' pilot program should be released later this year.
It's all like a Pandora's box. You let one in, they're all going to come in. Just like tax. You let a tax in, more taxes are going to come. Nah, screw all that. And you know what, though? You look on the flip side, going back to what I was saying with the whole property and living, you know, where I live, right? And, you know, the trade-off is, would you rather pay the same amount of money to live in some 2-bedroom renting of an apartment in the city, or a 6-bedroom with 3/4 of an acre of land and pay the same amount or less? You know what I'm saying? So you have that, right? But then on the flip side, you look at people that can't really afford to live in cities. They have to commute, right? And so it's going to cost them more to drive, obviously, to go to work and all that stuff. And to add this tax to that, it's just ridiculous that, you know, it'll just be an added cost. They're already struggling living because they have to commute in every day. It's ridiculous, you know. So, so yeah, it needs to stop. This whole thing with nickel and diming us for every little thing there is ridiculous, and it needs to stop. So hopefully we can like not do this. And so actually Carl DeMaio here is, I think he has some sort of proposal on trying to have a stoppage to that. Look at this. Even in Chicago, Illinois, they have a pilot program to tax drivers by the mile, also in Chicago. So you notice these liberal, progressive sort of cities / state, depending on who's running it, when you look at it. And it's just, they're the ones that are really pushing it, and they're the ones that are really in a struggle, right, when it comes to the cost of putting it on us to pay for everything because of their overspending. Illinois has budget problems. Obviously, you heard Chicago with Brandon Johnson's budget issues. All these liberal cities / states that are run by these Democrats who don't know how to budget properly are the ones that are, you know, creating dumbass ways to make us pay because of their ridiculous ways of spending. So let's see here. California tries again with per mile tax on all vehicles once again. So let's take a look at this. All right.
California Democrat politicians once again are attacking how you drive your car, introducing a bill that would impose a mileage tax on top of your gas and car tax fees, but also wanting to charge you different fines for speeding based on your income.
Here we go again with these dum-dums in California. Thank God I don't live there. That's all I can say, but I feel bad for you guys that do. Roll the intro.
Just push this ahead here. Perfect. Oh, you're just talking. All right, he's just more providing commentary. Let me go to Carl DeMaio here. He's providing more of a commentary. Here's Carl DeMaio, Republican out of San Diego.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website on Wix.
Bad news for California drivers. Governor Gavin Newsom and California Democrat politicians want to charge you a new mileage tax. That's right. Charge for every mile that you drive. And it's going to add up to thousands of dollars per year per driver. Coming up, I'll tell you how we're organizing the fight to block the unfair and costly California mileage tax.
Oppression. Only those who voted for Newsom should have to pay the tax. That's true. Who else wants to see
chairman of Reform California and a California state representative representing District 75 in the California State Assembly. Have you heard? Assembly Bill 1421 has been introduced, and it's backed by the Democrats up in Sacramento.
To figure out how
Governor
to tax
Gavin Newsom and California Democrat politicians, they already charged the highest gas tax in the nation. The highest car tax in the nation.
Our
gas prices are about $2 more per gallon than the rest of the country. So it's very expensive already for a driver to drive their car. But now they want even more of your money.
Exactly.
It comes in the form of what they call the mileage tax, or as they like to call it, the road usage charge. A road usage charge, RUC, R-U-C. It's a mileage tax. And what they're doing is they're claiming that it is needed to, are you ready for this? You haven't heard this one before, right? It's needed to fix the roads. Oh, that's right. Isn't that where the gas tax is supposed to be going? Yeah, we're not dumb. Look, it's Assembly Bill 1421. I'm opposed to it. I'm leading the opposition to kill the bill. But more importantly than that, localities are looking at doing a mileage tax. So we're organizing a statewide campaign to block it. In just a minute, I'm going to walk you through how much it's going to cost you, the typical driver. But I want you to be part of the fight. We need you desperately right now. So go to the website, stopthemileagetax.com.
I'm definitely going to stop on this thing and sign this petition, man, because I want to try to see if I could get a... See, stopthemileagetax.com. Yeah, I want to try to put that link. Just this, and then you could go from there. For those of you that live in California and are against this thing, we got to stop this shit because this is ridiculous, you know. And so, yeah, stopthemileagetax.com. All right. It's stupid, you know. They're just gonna keep doing this, and we got to put a stop to this. All right, so that's what I wanted to put out there. I'm not going to go, you know, into this 16-minute video, but we get the idea of what's happening here. All right, they're going to make this push to put an additional tax, all right, on top of all these other taxes that we're already paying in California, and it's just like, come on now, like really, enough is enough, you know, and they're just going to keep doing it, and we got to stop this shit, you know, because how stupid does that sound? Put a mileage tax. Then what's the point of driving if we're going to, you know, what's the point of going to work? What's the point of doing all this shit if they're going to, they're already taxing us of our paychecks. Then they're going to tax us to drive to work, right? Tax us to go to the store, right? Tax us to go on vacation just for driving? Like, think about that, you know? It's stupid. Like, these politicians don't think about people in our lives, you know what I mean? Like, do they care about paying for it? I don't know. Maybe they don't. They make so much money. I don't know. But it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, on top of all the other dumb shit they do in California with the lame brain decision making, right? And all this wasteful money spending. High-speed rail with poor planning going into the Central Valley. We're like, what kind of shit is that? That no one gives a damn about. And then you're talking about the homeless situation that's gotten worse. You're shutting down all the prisons, soft on crime, defunding police, and then tax the shit out of us, push the Green New Deal to electrify our cars, but yet raise the electricity rates, so we got to pay more on top of to charge the cars, right? Think about all that. The highest taxes of everything there is in California. Gas tax, income tax, all this other shit. And then they want to add another tax to that. Like, think about it, people. Enough is enough. I mean, we got to, like, put an end to this. So I'm going to put a link down there. It says stopthemileagetax.com. And I'm going to sign up for it. I hope you guys do too. Yeah, this is just bullshit. And it's stupid. All right. Please, if you see this and you're in California, we got to stop this shit. All right. Anyhow, I just wanted to put this message out there. As corrupt as Sheng Tao is, I'd rather bang Sheng, all right? I'd rather bang Sheng than and deal with her corruption than to pay some damn tax, all right? Fuck all that, all right? So other than that, comment down below, let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and follow me whether you're on YouTube or Rumble. Thank you, and I'll see you next one.